Welcome, my name is Leon. I am the creative director and co-founder of City from Naught. It is my pleasure to walk through Keyword 2 with you today. Keyword 2 is a sequel to our debut game Keyword, A Spider's Thread. It is a 3D, single-player, first-person open-world detective RPG with an emphasis on world building and character development. The primary design goal for Keyword 2 is to create a living, breathing world with a diverse cast of NPCs, conspiracies, as well as mind-bending puzzles. The linear narrative market has seen challenges from open-world games that offer players more freedom to explore. What makes Keyword 2 stand out among the stream of open-world RPGs is our explorable environment. Many open-world games have a massive world but with low content density. The player may travel for miles with little fun thing to do in between. Side quests are generic and side characters are disposable. This leads to a world that feels boring and characters fell flat. In contrast, the world of Keyword 2 is small but intricate. The world is immersive and each character is more memorable. The game is set in a single city block in the near future, packed with environmental storytelling elements at every corner. We share the vision of Warren Spector, who once said, "I would rather build a world that's an inch wide but a mile deep, as opposed to a mile wide but an inch deep." The city block is inspired by Hongya Cave in Chongqing, China, and Kowloon Wall City in Hong Kong, with a focus on verticality. Buildings are connected with walkways, elevators, ladders, creating ample opportunity for novel methods of traversal and secrets hiding in every nook and cranny.
Hi, this is ZW Buckley, one of the sound designers working on Keyword 2. For me, successful sound design not only helps guide and reinforces the player's action in the game, but it also tells the player something about the world they find themselves in. The subway turnstile features the first of many short jingles that you'll hear throughout the game. There's a certain grittiness to this world, as evident in the station, and I often think of music likely being used to console, thank, or sell things to people. In the case of the turnstile, there's a little jingle there to thank the player for writing. Later on, we'll see little jingles used to mythologize nature and reduce fear of advanced technology. When I began working on this project, one of the first things I immediately noticed was the complete lack of nature in this city. Anytime nature is even alluded to, it's through intangible objects such as the goldfish hologram. I wanted the sound design to reinforce this separation between nature and the people living in this world. There is a recording of a gentle stream playing from the abstract installation art featuring the fish, but I intentionally altered the recording so that the player hears digital artifacting. I wanted to take any opportunity I could to reinforce this separation through sound, as I find it to be one of the most compelling and telling aspects of the world of Keyword 2.
While we do offer waypoints and quest markers as optional anti-frustration tools, Keyword 2 is best enjoyed if the player fully immerses himself in the role of a detective. Directions, clues are presented in-game through text messages, billboards, posters, and we role players with careful observations and intuitive reasoning. In this example, the players know that they have to go to King's Building level 6 to meet Kurt's partner by reading the exchange between the two, and they have to find out King's Building's whereabouts by talking to NPCs or follow signages, just like real life. We try our best to ensure that the player can still navigate around with ease despite the insane level of criticality by shortcuts that are purposely placed.
As we first enter into the city, an ethereal pad plays gently in the background. I wanted to bridge the gap between sound design and music as atmospheres and tones blend in and out of the cityscape. The pad itself is completely static, and I want that immovability to give the space a sense of weight and tension without feeling overbearing. In a sense, it's almost like a sonic fog thickening the atmosphere as the player pushes through to uncover the world of the game.
Hey, this is Jeff Penny, a sound designer and technical sound designer for Keyword 2. One of the things that most struck me about the project when I first saw it was how vibrant the world felt. As much of the gameplay is centered around exploration, I really wanted to make sure that every area felt rich, lived in, and worth exploring. That's why I set up a dynamic system throughout the scene where each area has its own unique reverbs and ambient soundscapes. Each area consists of a general soundscape to set the tone, a blend of textural pads, randomized events such as water drips or sirens in the distance, and countless objects emitting sound throughout the world. No area should ever feel stale or lifeless, and the evolution of what you're hearing feels organic as there won't be any sudden shifts between those zones.
The game also features a parkour system that allows for a fun way of getting around the level that ties neatly with our sprawling level design, allowing the player to experience the dazzling vertigo when climbing up and down chutes, pipes, and scaling across tunnels and rooftops. The parkour system will serve both as a vehicle for exploration and action set pieces that spice up the pace. Here's another example of the breeder puzzles that we specialize in. Through this little glass window in the door, the player can see a glimpse of somebody jotting down the code to the very door they want to open, but their vision is obstructed. This plants a seed of curiosity in the mind of the player. We'll be coming back to this puzzle shortly. Here we see the blimp owned by the king group, named the Akala, the god who does not move. Akala is an avatar of Buddha himself, which he uses when he punishes the evil of the world. He is often depicted as the black and gold giant. In front of the blimp, the player can see two reliefs, depicting two of the four heavenly kings. They are the guardians of the realm in Buddhism. The Pirate Baths House is one of the grandest areas in the game. The design concept draws inspiration from various traditional Chinese artworks and literature. For example, in traditional Chinese philosophy, there's a concept of the heaven being round and the earth being square. The main hall of the bathhouse has a square roof with decoration like contour maps of mountains and rivers. At the same time, the pool on the ground takes a round shape, showing that the owners of the place think they live in heaven rather than earth. The investigation is one of the core experiences of the game. We are proud of our puzzle design prowess, building 3D environments with a strong identity and direction, and our ability to design characters and plots. In Keyword, a spider thread, received tons of praises for our well-crafted, intuitive puzzles that engage the players, as evident by our Steam reviews and press reviews. We successfully emulated pixel hunting gameplay that is common with old-school adventure games. Akin to room escape games, the player has to gather clues in the environment in order to solve puzzles to progress. I enjoy playing room escape games, however I have my own share of gripes. Namely, many traditional room escape games, which often contain puzzles that are quite arbitrary. For example, the only reason you know to use a 3-digit code is when you have seen a 3-digit lock somewhere. There's no inherent connection between the two. In our puzzles, there's always a logical setup that will lead the player from one clue to the next. We almost never hardlock any clues behind items or keys. In Keyword, the key to any puzzle is always information. One of my favorite games, Outer Wilds, is an excellent example of this. The player learns through explorations and experience how this world works and derive hypotheses they can test. We do have to put in immense amount of trust into the player's ability to interpret the world around them. In this particular case, it's fairly straightforward. The text change informs the player that there's a particular dress that is worth looking at. The player would then hopefully search for a dressing room and claim the prize by picking out the article closely mentioned. We found the player are most happy when they discover something and follow through the deletes for themselves. The clues players scatter will be organized into this detective board style UI that tells the player where they might have missed. It's a non-intrusive way for us to nudge the player to the right path without robbing them of their agency. Remember the locked door with the passcode earlier? Through vertical explorations, the player now has the information to gain access to that room. During playtests, lots of people can't wait to get into the room right away. We believe in exploration-based intrinsic motivation to be the best way to craft a great experience, and we try our best to facilitate that. Thank you for joining us today. If you have a product key, feel free to place through the vertical slice for yourself, and we look forward to hearing from you.